Now, tell me honestly, do you have different voices for different people? The voice you use with your kids, your parents, friends, your partner, your boss? Hey, honey, how was your school? Hi, mom. Yeah, everything is good. Oh, why can't anyone take the trash out? Yes, sir. The report will be done at 5:02. You see, your tone changes, your pacing changes, even the way you enunciate changes. You instinctively adjust your voice depending on who is listening. But what about the voice you use with yourself? The one you whisper in private when no one is around? When the day didn't go the way you hoped? That voice doesn't have an audience. No filter, no softening. And for so many of us, that's the harshest voice of all. The voice you live with. Because here is something we don't say enough. Your inner voice isn't just communication, isn't just commentary, it's your environment. It's the tone you move through your day with. It's the air you breathe inside your own mind, and it quietly shapes how safe, steady, or tense you feel long before anything actually happens. And you cannot feel calm, grounded, or confident inside an environment that's constantly criticizing you. If you listen closely, that voice often sounds like pressure disguised as motivation. It says things like, you should be better at this by now. Why does this still feel so hard?
If you were really a good mom, this wouldn't be happening.
Or other moms don't struggle like this. And the hardest part, most of us never chose that voice. No one sat down and said, hey, this is the voice you'll use with yourself for the rest of your life. No, it was absorbed, inherited. It's your BS voice, your belief system voice, shaped by culture, comparison, expectation, survival. So you assume it is you, but it is not. It is an outdated operating system running your life in the background. Or spam emails your brain keeps opening, or like a push notification you never opted into. It's a scratched CD skipping the same line over and over, an old script you memorized before you knew you could edit it. A story you inherited, not the one you consciously chose. It's a survival alarm that never learned that danger passed. An old belief that once kept you safe, but now it is keeping you small. You see, your brain is mistaking pressure for protection. That voice isn't your truth, it's an echo, not your original voice. Background noise mistaken for fact. An old map that no longer matches where you are right now. And the problem isn't that you have that voice. The problem is that it's been running the show unchecked. So here's a quick science fact. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between an external threat and an internal one from an evolutionary perspective. And this goes all the way back to our earliest human ancestors. The brain evolved to keep us safe, not happy. Thousands of years ago, that meant scanning for real danger, actual threats, lions in the grass, tribes you could be cast out from. But here's the problem. There are no lions chasing you now, at least last time I checked. And yet your nervous system is still on high alert. Today's lions look different. They look like comparison, like feeling judged, like worrying. You're doing it wrong. Like the fear of being seen as a bad mom, like the quiet panic of not belonging or not being enough, which means your system is always scanning. Am I safe here? Am I accepted? Am I at risk of rejection or abandonment? And when your inner voice turns harsh or critical, your brain thinks it's helping. And your body responds as if danger is present. Heart rate is up, breath shallow, patience gone, reactivity high. But that is not a character flaw. That's just biology. Your brain has mistaken pressure for protection. It believes that if it is keeping you under constant self-monitoring, pushes you harder, keeps you hyper vigilant, you'll stay safe. But that voice is not protecting you anymore. It is just keeping your body tense and your heart exhausted. And this is the part that matters. You are trying to parent from inside a body that feels under threat, not because your kids are unsafe, but because your inner environment is. So let me put it this way. You would never raise your children in a house where they're constantly told they're failing, right? You wouldn't call it accountability. You would call it unsafe. And yet, that is the environment so many of us live in internally. A house where mistakes are punished, where rest is questioned, where growth is demanded under pressure. No wonder you're tired. So let's slow this way down and make it practical. Next time something goes sideways, and it will. For example, you snap, you rush, you forget, you choose survival instead of intention. Before your inner voice jumps in with a verdict, I want you to pause just one beat and ask yourself, what does my inner voice want to say right now? Not what it should say, what it actually wants to say. Maybe it's harsh, maybe it's disappointing, maybe it's exhausting. Just notice it without fixing it yet, because awareness is the beginning of choice. Now comes the shift. After you notice that voice, I want you to offer a second voice, a mirror. Not a fake one, not a positive thinking, everything is fine voice, a grounded one. One that sounds like, that was hard. I'm human. I can fix it. I learn from mistakes because they happen. I'm still a good mom. You see, this isn't about silencing the critical voice. It's about giving it competition. Because when your nervous system hears safety, your behavior naturally shifts, not instantly, not perfectly, but steadily. This is how real change happens. Not by being hard on yourself, but by creating an inner environment that supports growth. Okay, let's think anthropology just for a second. In a traditional communal culture, the ones humans actually evolved in, learning didn't happen through constant self-evaluation. It happened through belonging. Mistakes were expected. Repair was normal. Growth happened inside relationships, not isolation. You didn't have to exile yourself internally every time you fell short, but modern motherhood stripped away the village and replaced it with an inner judge. And no, not Judge Judy for the record, but the one in your head that thinks it's helping by staying critical. But your nervous system still craves the same thing it always has: safety, connection, belonging, and that can start inside. So try this practice for this week. Pick one sentence you want to live with, not a mantra, not something you have to fully believe yet, just something that feels 5% kinder than what you're used to. It's not a big affirmation. It's not everything is amazing energy. It's just a line that feels slightly less harsh than the one you're used to. Think of it like this. If your inner judge usually talks at a 10-10, a 5% kinder line brings it down to, let's say, 9.5. That's it. Because real change doesn't happen when your brain argues. It happens when your nervous system feels just enough safety to soften. So a 5% kinda line sounds like, instead of, I'm failing, this is hard. Instead of, I should know better by now, I'm learning. Instead of, I messed up everything, I can repair. Or instead of, why am I like this? I'm human. You see, nothing dramatic, nothing performative, just 5% more human than the voice you've been living with. And when the inner judge shows up, because it will, you don't argue with it. You don't wrestle it to the ground. You just come back to your 5% kinder line again and again and again. Because repetition, not perfection, is how the voice that lives with you starts to change. Because the goal isn't to never struggle. The goal is to struggle without abandoning yourself. Now, let me show you the future version of you. Picture this. It's a year from now. Your kids still have big feelings. You still have hard days. But when something goes wrong, you don't spiral the same way. You repair faster. You breathe sooner. You don't carry the moment like proof you're failing. Your home feels calmer, not because everything is perfect, but because you are steadier inside yourself. Your kids feel it too, because one day they will make mistakes. They will fall short. They will feel overwhelmed. And the voice they hear in those moments will sound a lot like the one you use with yourself right now. That's not pressure. That's power. So, to bring it home, hasn't been about fixing your parenting. It's been about changing the voice that lives with you while you parent. Because that voice shapes your nervous system, your confidence, the emotional tone of your home. You're not doing this wrong. You are just learning how to stay in your lane. And that is what real growth feels like. I'm so glad you're here with me. And I cannot wait to see you next time.